it fixed?
It is fixed. I had marked it, I guess. So that would have been troublesome when the people started to come. So.
Recording in
Well, we'll get started when everyone gets here.
Sounds good. Thanks, Kenna.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for understanding, because y'all don't want to see me like coughing and blowing my nose. So, but I'm here.
Okay. I hope you get feeling better.
Yeah, with the amount of NyQuil/Dayquil in my system, I'm not sure if I can claim mentally, but physically I'm here.
Okay, that's good.
Thanks.
How's the football game going? Oh, you're not at the football game yet.
Hello. Oh, are you
Oh,
talking to me?
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, it's actually soccer.
Oh, soccer.
And,
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
and
like
we'll be leaving in about 45 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well,
So, yeah.
Brenn loves soccer. I like soccer too, but Brenn really likes soccer.
Well, that's great. Our whole family, all of our grandkids play soccer, so it's one game after another. It's lots of fun.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we get started.
Yeah,
We're still waiting on some people, so
Okay,
as
great.
soon as we
splitting
get
my
it up.
attentions to Shiona for a soccer game as well.
I don't know how to see everybody in the meeting on my phone. This is weird.
If you tap on your screen,
Yes.
and then the bottom little menu should come up, and then
Oh,
it says participants.
yes.
That's where you see who's all in.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah, I think I see 4 squares now. I think that's it. Oh, no, I see. Okay.
I'm just not sure how hungry the boys are because they were eating when they got home. They had sandwiches, but obviously this kid's eating eternally. So
Well, I think everyone's here but Spencer. He said he was probably going to be late. He's traveling too. Looks like Dave's gone to his hotel room. And we're also missing Jeff. Jeff got on earlier, but then he was gone again. So we'll wait a few more minutes and then we'll get started.
I think we all need to express our sincere gratitude to Kenna for keeping these presentations, moving forward while still allowing us to attend remotely. So
Yes, Kenna, you're doing a great job. Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks, Brenn. We may not say that by the end of the night, but we'll work on it. This is easier and harder at times, you know what I mean? I think people don't present as long on Zoom as they do in person, which is a good thing, but sometimes it's a little bit harder to manage. We'll wait 2 more minutes and then we'll get started by doing a welcome, and we need to approve the minutes from our last meeting. So we'll wait a few more minutes and see if Spencer and Jeff get on. Okay, well, Jeff's getting on, so we'll wait until he's connected. So let's go ahead. Spencer will probably get on when he can. So welcome to another night of care presentations. Tonight's gonna be a little bit longer night. We actually have 12 presentations instead of 10. I was able to get with the Viva Brazil people. She was out of the country last week and wasn't able to join us. So she will be joining us last tonight. But welcome. Brenn, do you want to say anything, Dave or Jeff, before we get started?
I'll just repeat what I said before everyone joined. Just I'm glad we can do these presentations remotely so that everyone gets a chance to share what great things they're doing, but also so that we can do it efficiently and quickly. So y'all owe a big thanks to Kenna for keeping these moving along quickly.
Well, thank you. So the next order of business is we just need to approve the minutes from our last meeting. I sent those out with the agenda and everything. Can I entertain a motion to accept those minutes?
And any one of our care citizen volunteers can make that motion to accept the minutes. And then we open it up for everyone to
I motion to accept the minutes.
Thanks, Stacy. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. Any concerns or questions? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, those pass. Thank you very much. So tonight our first group is the Cantorum Chamber Choir. It looks like we have, I know, at least two that will be coming in a few minutes. If you guys are ready, we can start now. What do you guys want to start now?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, I will let Lisa in. Hi, Lisa. You're on mute, Lisa. Lisa, can you hear me?
Yes, now that I unmuted myself.
There you are. Is Steve and Terry both with you?
Steve will be signing in separately. So
Yeah, but Terry's not with you, right?
No, just
okay.
Steve. Correct.
All right. I'll admit Steve. I'll let him come in.
Okay.
All right. We'll wait until he gets on and then kind of tell you the procedure for tonight. So this is the Care Commission. You'll have about 8 minutes to present with questions. It's 6 minutes. I will raise my little hand in my little screen and you'll know that you have 2 more minutes left. But I appreciate you being here tonight and we'll turn the time over to you. If you need to share your screen, you can as well. So
now I just want to get from the IC. So I just click on the green share screen.
yes.
Okay. All right. I want to look different here. I want it to look different. There we go. Okay.
All right.
Steve just caught on. Hi, Steve.
I am Steve Durchie, the Artistic Director of Cantorum, and I thought we would just start briefly with this last season. It was a great first season back into fully in-person public participation and audiences. We began with our 6th annual Orem Sings concert. That's where we collaborate with a high school and a junior high school in Orem. This year it was Orem High School and Canyon View Junior High School. Over the past 6 years of this particular concert, we've worked with hundreds of Orem City School students. After that, we had our Scottish Festival. And actually, before we move on to the Scottish Festival, this is a quote from the director of Orem High School. The collaboration has been invaluable for my students. Starting the year off preparing for and performing this concert gets my students excited and helps them really dig into their music. My favorite part, and the students as well, is finally getting to sing alongside the Cantorum singers. It's eye-opening for them to see what their possibilities are, both in technique and opportunities beyond high school and college. This tradition of collaboration in the Orem community literally inspires generations, from the junior highs seeing what the high school opportunities they'll have, to the high school students seeing how they can keep music in their lives beyond the classroom. It's a highlight of our school year, and I look forward to being part of it for years to come. And it's also a highlight of our season each year, and something that we look forward to. And it really is a privilege for us to participate in that way. The Scottish Festival was a celebration of clans and an ecumenical service at First Presbyterian. We had our library concert, our annual library hall concert in the fall, followed by our love song concert, which is our only annual ticketed event. Everything else is always open and free to the public. We also had the opportunity of collaborating with Ballet West this year. Ballet West hired us to sing Carmina Burana with them for 2 weeks worth of performances several weeks ago, which is a pretty big deal for a Utah choir. There are not many paid choral gigs in Utah, and to be part of that huge event is pretty singular for our organization. And then just a couple weeks ago, we concluded with our final library hall concert and our concluding season concert last week.
And I am going to speak a little bit to that opportunity that we got to sing with at the library hall again. I am just going to share a quote by Nathan Robison, which I really appreciated him sending to me. Cantorum has been performing at the Orem Public Library for at least 8 years, and it has been a wonderful partnership. The choir is very professional and easy to work with, and they are one of the best choirs Utah Valley has to offer. The Orem community recognizes the high quality of their performances, and a Cantorum performance consistently brings a large and engaged audience to the library. We enjoy that opportunity every time. I wanted to share just a couple of statistics with you about our membership. We have over 40% of our choir members live or work in Orem. Over 41% of Cantorum is made up of music educators and professional musicians. More than half of the members have been in the choir for 4 years or longer, with 23% of those, or percent of the entire choir, having been members for more than 6 years. This season, over 4,000 volunteer hours were given by our choir members. These hours include rehearsals, performances, community outreach, and recordings. Steve.
We're looking forward to the 2022-23 season. It'll be our 7th annual Orem Sings concert. This year, we have reached out to and plan to work with Timpanogos High School and Orem Junior High. And we're also very excited that we will later on this summer, and this is outside of choir funds or care funds, this is individual choir members, but we've had 2 national tours in the past 8 years, and this will be our first international tour, where we will not only represent Orem City, but also the United States as the only US choir competing at the International Choral Competition in Cardiff, Wales. Following, we will have several performances in London. That happens in June and July, and we're super excited to take our small Orem ensemble onto some pretty big stages in June and July.
And then Steve, I think you were going to talk a little bit about the coming season.
Other than our 7th Orem Sings, we plan to, and have reached out to a couple of composers to commission pieces that will both acknowledge the commissioner, the choir, and also the support of Orem City through Care Grant, and those pieces will be premiered by us in the spring of our next season. We will also have our annual fundraiser concert to help match the remainder of our budget needs. And I think we will also have our first Christmas literature concert in a long time. We don't typically sing at that time of the year. And Lisa, you can help us out with some numbers from this
Yes.
past year and for next year.
This is our, because I knew you'd want to go over these things. This is our proposed budget for, well, this is our budget for this coming season, 22-23. I've tried to make this very clear. I followed the outline of the care categories for the budget, and eliminated any of those categories that we just didn't, have any fund requests for. On the left, you'll see the left column, you'll see this is what we have budgeted for our needs, and then on the right column are funds that we have included that would be applicable to Care Grant requested funds. So I guess at this point, we'd just leave it open to questions. Are we there?
Yeah, any questions about this past season or about the organization moving forward into next season?
Any questions? We have a couple more minutes.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, congratulations on your selection. How do you choose the schools? Is it kind of a rotating schedules with going to the schools with that concert?
It is. It's about, we rotate through the 3 high schools and the 3 junior highs. So it is pretty much we rotate
okay.
through.
And we try to always match the junior high that primarily will feed into that high school. And it's a great, they have so much fun getting to go perform at the high school they're going to be attending.
Okay. I was just wondering about that.
And we'll be doing our seventh Orem Sings collaboration this fall. We're so excited. We have kids that are always, that are starting to see the rotation, and they come back from junior high, and then they're also in it as a high schooler, and they just remember how fun it was, and always come and say hi to us.
Okay, any other questions?
So do you charge dues to be?
Thank you. Is that David?
Yes.
Hi, David. We do not charge dues. We have for starters, because we have like so many really dedicated professional people, we rather than charging dues, we have what's called an attendance policy, which is completely operated outside of the care funds. But people put in an amount of money, and then depending on their attendance, they get all of that back or a portion of that back. But it's not really a fundraiser for the choir. It sometimes does, but anyway, to answer your question, no, we do not charge dues. With the 4,000 hours of volunteer work, it's like we can't bring ourselves to ask people to pay. So, but because Orem has always been so great, we are not able, or we don't have to charge these good people to be in the choir. So we're able to offer that as an opportunity for them without them having to cover costs for music and other fees.
So are there any other mechanisms you guys use to raise money or funds?
Just our fundraising concert, that the annual love song concert, and that typically brings in around, is it listed there? I was gonna off the top of my head
No,
say
we didn't
around
list that specifically. It usually brings in about $5,000. Every
Right.
once in a while, we also have opportunities to perform for professional opportunities, or a couple of years ago, we performed at the Cathedral of Madeline. We're paid $2,000 to do that. Carmina Burana, this time, actually, we deferred. All payments went to the individual singers as opposed to Cantorum at large. this time because it's just such a humongous undertaking for each of those singers.
Right, any other questions?
I'm just curious. Congratulations on being able to sing in Cardiff and London.
Thank you.
Just
Thank you.
curious how you were able to pull that together.
The going to just planning a tour kind of thing, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, just I mean, it's not an easy thing to get onto those stages. So
Right. Well,
It's something that we started a couple years ago because it's in celebration of our 10th year as a choir. But then with COVID things that got pushed back. So it's been in the works for about 2 years. But we have a tour manager in the choir, thankfully, that works out really well, who has taken over all of the tour planning. And yes, it has been a challenge to get into some of those places, and some of I will be singing at Oxford, but it's all worked out really well so far.
it's wonderful.
and the UK are really raring at the bit to get going and back out of the pandemic. They are happy to have visiting choirs coming.
Awesome.
Thank
All
you for
right.
the question.
Well, we're out of time. Any last questions? All right, thanks you two. I appreciate you being with us tonight, and have a
We
good
appreciate
evening.
you. Thank you.
Thanks, Orem City. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey,
All
Ken,
right.
Ken, I've got a question.
Yes.
Since I'm on the road, I do not have the sheet that shows what we gave them last year compared to what they're asking for this year.
Okay.
So could you do that on all the other ones, so I don't have those in my notes because.
Yes, I will look that up and give that to you, Dave. Let me let these other two in, and then I'll get that to
Okay.
you. Okay. Do you want me just to email it to you, or do you want me to?
Well, or you just, before you let somebody in, you say, hey,
Okay.
they gave
Okay.
us, we gave them 4,000 last year and they asked for 9 or whatever.
Okay, I can do that. Let me pull that up as soon as I let these two in, so.
And then what they're asking for this year, right? So.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
sounds
thank
good. Right, the
And it
next,
should all be in that Google sheet.
the next group we have is the Utah Live Concerts Foundation, and I will let Brian, it looks like that we have two to admit, so just a moment. Hi, Brian. Is Terry with you as well?
No, wait. Well, actually, yeah, Terry should be the other one joining in. He's with Alan Breeze, and they're both going to be speaking. But I have the presentation part.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen Alan yet, so I'll let Terry in.
Yeah, Terry and Alan are together. So I think
Okay,
we have both of them
perfect.
on the screen.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So
And then
welcome.
I'll need the ability to take screen.
Yeah, you should be able to just share your screen. Look at the green button at the bottom.
Got
Yeah,
it.
you
Thanks.
should be able to do that. So
Thank
you will have 8 minutes to present.
Yep.
It's
got it.
6 minutes. I will hold up my hand, the little yellow hand, then you'll know that you have that much time to go. And that includes questions.
Okay.
So you're with the Care Commission, and we'll turn the time over to you for your presentations. Thank you, Brian and Terry.
You bet. Alan, why don't you go ahead?
Okay. So thanks for the opportunity, folks, for us to come here tonight and share with you a little bit about what we're doing this year in the way of our Come Together Festival in Orem. I want to talk a little bit by way of background. I think you know who we are. We were here last year, Utah Live Concerts, and Brian did the presentation to you. So I think you have somewhat of an idea of what we do. We provide a free concert to the Orem community, and we do it primarily for friends, fun, family, and food, which is a slogan we've used in years past, but we're also doing it in conjunction with other organizations that are nonprofits that work with us. So here's our mission statement, just as by way of review to you. It's to create and operate and manage concerts for the preservation of live music performances here in the Utah County area. and support the charitable organizations I was mentioning a moment ago, and also to develop civic and community unity. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we go through the pitch about what that means. Provide education about culture and influence of our performing music in the community. By way of review a little bit, last year, end of summer concert that we had in 2021 had great success. We saw about 3,500 people involved in it at that point in time. You can see a little bit here from the pictures, some of what goes on there. Our accomplishments that we want to talk to you about a little bit are these right here. We had like I said, a successful event last year, about 3,500 people, and that's people coming and going obviously during the concert, but total number of people around approximately 3,500. When we expanded the youth band program, we actually started 2 years ago on this. Last year, we actually had a really good turnout, and this year we're hoping for even a greater turnout with the youth band program. We have several of the local Utah County and one Salt Lake County schools of rock that support us. The community activities happen during transitions between bands, where we actually do have discussions and call outs from the stage on some of the activities that we're doing with these community organizations that we work with, excuse me. And obviously the concert is free to family and friends. We do a lot of senior living outreach. And in fact, Brian, who you all know, is actually the one who is doing a lot of that coordination effort for our Beatles showcase, which last year had great success. We had so many people that wanted us to do it again this year that we're back doing it again this year as part of our overall concert series for the 2 days. One of the activities we're trying to expand upon this year as a venue is we're trying to take some of what we did last year with our care funds. We were able to put in place signage for better marketing and visibility and awareness of what we do during the concert. And this year we're hoping to expand on that so that we can even get a greater coverage of this particular concert venue and that, which has only grown over the last few years. Last year, KSL Radio, we had the Daily Herald again that picked up on it, and we had great reviews on the activities that happened there in between each of the bands, as well as the bands themselves in the concert. UP supporting us with some of the billboards out in front there and around town signage that we put up. Even though we have great coverage right now, we're trying to expand that out even more, especially around the park itself. A lot of people would drive by and see the concert flags and then wonder, oh, we didn't even know there was a concert going on here. So we're expanding in our marketing areas by not only putting up more signage, but also trying to get out more into the internet and get a greater presence there, as well as through expanded radio and news articles.
Yeah, and this is Brian Chapman here, and I did want to say just that we really thank you for the care funding last year helped us with things like the banners that we put along Center Street. We had multiple people saying we didn't know you guys were doing this until we saw the signs and came in. So again, that's care funding. Those are places that it really helped us last year. Thank you.
It is, and it's also care funding that goes into helping us with our internet presence as well, and some of the work that we're doing there, because we're able to reach people through our internet presence during the concert with some streaming, and also as well as putting information out on the internet and that. So to Brian's point, thank you very much. Improvements that we're hoping to make this year as we go into the event. Obviously, we just talked about the visibility and the growing audience awareness of what we're trying to do. And we're trying to involve more community into the activities that we have going on the 2 days, during the 2 days of the festival. One of the new activities, obviously, we talked about the Beatles showcase already, but two of the new activities we're hoping to expand into this year to grow this a little bit more is the vintage car show that we're planning on having there in Orem at the park. And it'll happen on Saturday in conjunction with the Saturday show, and then a fireworks show at the end. I know we came in last year talking about the fireworks show. We weren't necessarily in a good enough position financially to go forward and make that happen. But we're hoping with care funds this year and with the money from our sponsorships that we're raising that we will be able to pull that off this year. And our skilled labor, to put on this type of a concert venue for 2 days, we've been very successful with Alan Wilberg and his sound company, but we're also looking to expand and have a couple more folks work with him. He's been a one-man show for the most part for the last few years. So, Brian, next one.
One thing I did want to just say before we go to the next one, slide is just our questions. So we're there. I did want to say with the more community involvements also, we're planning on involving a dance company, children's dance company out of Orem to help out with the show and our involvement in the Summerfest parade, which we're going to be taking part in that as well. So again, that's part of our community outreach that we're trying to put into this plan.
Yeah, and the Youth School of Rock is another thing that we're involved in, that we're pushing. And if you came to the show last year and you came at the early part of the Saturday, you saw a youth band playing there on Saturday. We had several of them and performing, and it was just fun to see the parents and their kids out there watching their kids up there on stage, and this is a huge thrill for them. So. Okay, so we'd like to open it up at this point, I guess, for questions that any of you may have for us. And I can see everybody, but I don't think I'm hearing anybody.
Looks like everybody's on mute.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions?
When was this again? When was the fireworks show planned again? Sorry, I missed the date.
We were looking for the 20th, the evening of. It'd be the finale to the concert, actually, on Saturday evening.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I thought for sure Dave would have something to say. He's come and supported us year in and year out. We've seen him there at the concert. So
it's an excellent event, and I got my rocking chair, and it's a great event. So you guys do a great job. So.
Well, you know, one of the fun things I didn't mention when I was giving the presentation here, I know it was brief, but it was really fun that last year we got several of the senior communities coming out, and it was a lot of fun to have them there. I know Gina works really hard with with the seniors and providing events and that, but they came out and actually supported us with this venue last year. It was just great to have them there. So
yeah, we got both the Orem Friendship Center and also the Utah County Friendships or Companion Center out of Provo. But we got both of those folks involved, mostly again through the Beatles showcase.
Somebody's got a hand up and they're on a phone, but it was echoing really bad.
I pulled back to this one here because you can see this this young boy playing drums there. It was a lot of fun to have the youth programs involved. Here's over here, this picture on the right is these kids standing backstage getting ready to go on, and none of them were taller than 4 feet. They were all little guys, and
we're not seeing your picture, Brian.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, you'd need to share that out so they could actually see it. But I talked about non-for-profits. I mean, besides the senior center that we're working with, and besides the Alzheimer's Foundation that we work with, this year we're actually courting the Red Cross as well, and probably we'll have the Red Cross into the fold this year with us as well, being a part of this, in support of it, and support of the Red Cross as well. So.
There's the little guy on drums again. I realized you weren't seeing.
Fun.
Yeah, it was fun. They were so good.
And he was so good. It was amazing to see this little guy playing up there on stage. So we really are reaching out to the youth in the community, and we're going to, as part of our posture going forward, try to engage more with them as well and bring them in, because it is a family-centric thing, and we just love the fact that they're engaging in music, and they're enjoying rock music or, you know, other genres of music, and being able to participate on a stage like this at this size is like for some of these kids, it's like a once in a lifetime dream. In fact, it's like that for most of the adults that are up there, to be honest with you. So.
Okay, if there's not any more questions, we need to get moving to the next group. So thanks, guys, for all you do and all the fun things you're doing.
Thank
see
you
ya.
for all you do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a
Take
good
care, all
night.
of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next group we have is the Tools of Freedom. And we'll let them in after the guys. All right, so I believe it's, let me make sure. Spencer's getting it, having challenges, so hopefully he's in now. Ryan, are you from the Tools of Freedom?
Yes.
Okay, hi guys.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
We're doing all right.
Okay, well, welcome to our Care Commission. You will have 8 minutes to present, including questions. At 6 minutes, I'll put my little yellow hand up in my box and you'll see that you'll have 2 more minutes. But we'll turn the time over to you. So this is the Tools of Freedom.
Hello.
There you go.
Let me. All right. Hi. As I said, I'm Ryan. This is Marin.
Hi. We're with the Utah Military History Group, but we're working with Tools of Freedom Inc. this year to take over their 4th of July event in the Orem Sarah Park.
There we go. A little bit about us. Like we said, we're with the Utah Military History Group. Our motto is preserving the past through living history. We are a group of reenactors throughout the state and country who have been doing events together since 2014. And we've been participating in the Freedom Festival Sarah Park display since it began in 2015. We've traditionally been over the World War II section, but we have done some of the other eras as well. And we regularly participate in educational displays and living history events across the country.
Our goals as the Utah Military History Group are to educate the public through interactive displays, share the everyday lives of those who sacrificed for our freedoms, maintain period artifacts so that they can be enjoyed for future generations.
We're here to ask for money to help run our Military History Days 2022. This is the event held at the Sarah Park from the 1st to the 4th of July. We are taking the lead on this event that is traditionally hosted by Tools of Freedom Incorporated, and we are working with them this year as we transition to making this event our own. What you can expect this year is a series of World War II displays that form a military encampment. These displays are interactive in nature and include an active motor pool with period vehicles, a recruiting station highlighting the different military branches for both men and women of the era, working original switchboard with field phones throughout the camp, and much more. Additionally, this year, we're hoping to expand our memorial portion and include a wall that highlights local World War II veterans.
How can CARE make this event a reality? The funds from this CARE grant will be used to help cover costs of feeding our volunteers, many who are coming from out of state, to provide Orem residents with potentially their only chance to see these artifacts in person. It will cover the upkeep of these 80-year-old artifacts. We'll be able to create handouts and flyers to continue the education and interest in this era of history after the event has ended, and it will help fund the creation of the memorial display, continuing to remember the local veterans like Ryan mentioned.
Breaking it down further, we have this table. As with previous years, we would like to host a 1940s swing dance with live music. In the past, this has cost us $1,000 for dance instructors and the live band. Additionally, we have material expenses. Many of our displays will run through expendables. These materials will include printed handouts, record player needles, 35mm film, batteries, and gasoline for generators and period vehicles. We also will have some marketing expenses as we update the name of the event and get the word out. And as far as development goes, we're looking to further develop our memorial section, like I stated earlier. with the creation of this memorial wall that will contain the names of residents who served in World War II. We're currently looking at an average of 40 volunteers a day. This will actually, well, the event is open to the public for 3 days, the 1st, 2nd, and 4th of July. We will have a setup and takedown day, and additionally, the 3rd of July, that Sunday, we will need to remain in the park to watch over all of the artifacts that are there. And we, even though it's not technically open to the public, we do get a large number of people coming through that day. So we're looking at 40 volunteers over the course of 6 days. In the past, the event has provided food and water for those volunteers, and we'd like to continue to offer that. Last year, it cost Tools of Freedom $2.75 a plate. We're hoping to get that down to $2.50 a plate per person, which comes out at about $1,500 for food. Additionally, last year, temperatures reached 117 degrees in the park, and our volunteers are wearing period uniforms. We usually go through about 2 pallets of water bottles over the course of the event. Sorry, this is our speaker making all sorts of noise for us. We usually go through about 2 pallets of water over the course of the event, and this will cost us about $800 if we're unable to get it donated like we have in years past. So we are asking for $1,499 from the Orem Care Fund specifically to cover food expenses. And then in addition to that, we have, with Tools of Freedom stepping down from running the event, we would like to start our own nonprofit to make sure that this display can continue to be enjoyed for years to come. These $300 would go towards the setup of that entity and event insurance.
We look forward to being able to see you at this event this summer, and we're here for questions.
Does anyone have any questions?
I think it's an awesome setup you have, and just to show the children and everybody the history of World War II and how freedom was not free, right? So it did pass on and lose their lives for our freedom. So we would have the right to choose. So I think this is a great thing for the 4th of July, and it's been awesome every year. So thank you.
Yeah, it's been an event that we've enjoyed in the past, and we wanted to make sure we could continue to move that forward.
All right, any other questions? All right, well, thank you for joining us today. I wish you well on your event.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, have
Thank
a good
you.
day. Bye. Okay, before we let the others in, I'll read off some amounts for you, Dave, and everyone else. So Freedom Vehicles, their 2021 request was $3,500, and their 2021 award was $3,000. And for some reason, it's not in their request is not in here. Let me look.
I think on that it showed $49.99.
Yeah, $49.99 is that on that one. Cantorum was their request in 2021 was $9,999, and we gave them $6,000. The request again is $9,999. And then the concerts, live concert, they asked for $4,800. We gave them $4,000. They're asking for $9,999 this year. Any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so the next group is the Utah Theater Bloggers Association, and let's see, they asked for
Kenna,
I
have a quick question.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, but I just wanted to ask, so it looks like some of them are requesting quite a bit more, and yet we have fewer funds, because I added up what was rewarded last year and it was like 80,000, and we have 75,000. So I guess they're asking more because they think inflation, or do we just, still have the 75,000 or is there wiggle room on that?
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end. I'm
Okay.
not sure. We'll look at that. I think, just, everyone always likes to ask high so that they can get as much as they can. So,
Okay.
The theater bloggers are one of our least asked. They asked for 620 last year. They got 500. This year they're asking for 820. So we'll let Russell in just 1 second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Russell. How are you tonight? Oh, still connecting. Hi, Russell. How are you tonight?
I am doing great. Let me start my video. So
yeah, sorry, we're a little bit behind time. Let me just tell you, you'll have 8 minutes to present. At 6 minutes, I'll put up a yellow hand. You have 2 more minutes. That 8 minutes should include questions. And so you're with their care commission. I'll turn the time to you. Thank you.
hello, everyone. It's great to meet with you from a distance. There, I'm sharing my screen. I'm Russell Warren. I'm the president of Utah Theater Bloggers Association. I'm grateful to the Orem Care Commission for taking the time to listen to the presentation about this grant we've applied for. Just an overview of the organization. There's our mission statement there. UTBA, as we like to call it with an abbreviation, is a literary organization. We advance the practice and art form of live criticism. And because it's theater criticism, it means that we also support live theater with our independent, honest, third-party reviews. And we also engage in training for members and for the general public to learn how to think and write about the arts in a critical fashion. The organization started back in 2010, and we acquired nonprofit status in 2017, and we're still going strong. This is actually slightly outdated. We published a review less than 20 minutes ago. So actually in the organization's lifetime, we've published 2,237 reviews. About 10% of those, almost exactly 10% of those have been in Orem. And then since the last care presentation, we've published 22 more reviews in Orem. We've had over 100 unique reviewers in the organization's history. All those people have been trained in writing theater criticism, have gotten feedback, editing, etc. 2 of our members are also members of the American Theater Critics Association, which is the country's only professional organization for theater critics. And then as far as content goes, most reviews are complimentary because we have a great, strong theater community here in Utah. About 70% of our reviews are positive. About 20% are mixed, and then we publish about 10% negative reviews. We're bouncing back from COVID. COVID hit a lot of arts organizations hard, and we're no exception. Within the past about 3 months, we've reached our pre-pandemic review capacity again, and we're having new writers apply in larger numbers than we have in about the past 4 or 5 years. We just barely got our website traffic in, and compared to the last full April before the pandemic, we're publishing about 25% more reviews, and our web traffic is up about the same amount. So finally, it feels like we're pulling out of that. So why theater review? And I have a couple of answers to this, and I provided most of these last year. So if you're a repeat commission member, this is going to sound a little familiar. Criticism is an important literary genre. Columbia University gives a Pulitzer every year in criticism. A lot of famous writers had a stint as critics of some sort, often theater critics like George Bernard Shaw, Dorothy Parker, Moss Hart. Even Ben Jonson wrote some of the earliest pieces of writing that today we would consider criticism of plays. It gives honest feedback to artists. In a state and a community where people are sometimes nice to a fault, it's good to have an outsider who gives you kudos if you're an artist, because then you know that they don't have any reason besides genuine belief and applause to give this to you. And also it helps to get some feedback to improve, encourage organizations to step up the quality of their work. It increases patron engagement in the arts to get patrons to read criticism and to think about what they've seen, to respond, sometimes vociferously if they disagree, or sometimes very excitedly if they find that they agree with a critic. And it gets people to also think about what they see. And it also provides a historical record of productions, because the performing arts, by their definition, once something ends, it's over. Yeah, you can watch a tape of it later, but it's not the same as being there. And having a written historical record of a performance increases the discoverability of that, and increases the community's knowledge of the arts in the area historically and currently. And it's part of a healthy arts ecosystem. It encourages improvement and excellence. It showcases the excellence, and unfortunately about 10% of the time, it also calls out mediocrity. I have some screenshots here of some recent Orem reviews. There's my review of Camelot at Hale Center Theater, Orem. Most successful Camelot I've ever seen. If you can see it, please do catch it. There's Catch Me If You Can at the Sierra. There was a production of Godspell on UVU campus we were invited to. Also, La Boheme, where they brought in a world-class soprano to sing the role of Mimi just divinely. There's also a grassroots review there. So we try to review every company that will allow us to come. We also hold public reviewing workshops. You can see a screenshot in the bottom left from my vice president when she held the workshop that was sponsored by CARE last year. It was about reviewing theater for young audiences. Shows for children are a tough genre to review, and she gave us an excellent training, and it's available on Facebook on our group's website. And as of this morning, it had 495 views on that video, which is more than average for us. We also did some talkbacks before COVID. You can see a picture of that in the bottom right. We're looking to start those up soon, and also our online trainings that are more interactive. And we're aiming to start a series of YouTube videos. And I see the hand up, so I'll wrap up my part for so we have time for questions. So the CARE Funds proposal is just basically for funds for writing and editing these reviews. We are upping our costs a little bit for that to reflect the increased price of gas for our writers. So we've increased the ask for $10 per review, and just some also incidentals because we want to resume in training person. We want to do that in Orem. And so there you go. I'm available for any questions you may have, because I've been doing this theater reviewing thing for a long time, 15 years.
Any questions for Russell?
What does the traffic to the website look like? I mean, we're always looking for the reach of these different programs. So how many people are reading reviews, and what does that kind of look like?
There's a lot of variability across reviews. I'll tell you right now, if I wanted to, I could game our content to increase traffic. Theater for young audiences tends to get fewer reviews than average. So for example, the production of Rapunzel at the Sierra in January, our review for that pulled in about 150, 130 views. The review of Bright Star at the Orem Hale pulled in about 10 times that many. So there's a lot of variability. Raves get more clicks, so do really negative pans. Mixed reviews don't get a lot of views. But on average, and the average is not a very fair number, but on average, we're talking about 400 to 550 viewers per review. But there's a wide variety. Longer running shows also get more clicks than shows that close soon. And in our application, we did submit viewership numbers for the reviews in Orem for the past year, and so you can take a look at those.
Any other questions for Russell?
The site as a whole, we're approaching about 100,000 views per calendar year, but obviously that's, including all the archives and a lot more than just Orem shows. But if Orem's roughly 10% of those reviews, and you figure roughly, including our archives, about 10,000 views on Orem reviews a year. But the older a review is, the more chances it gets to rack up the hits. And so I'm not going to say, oh yeah, 10,000 people a year read new reviews, because that's not true, but it would be several thousand, couple thousand.
All right. Well, thank you, Russell. We appreciate your time with us tonight.
Thanks for having me. Good luck with the rest of your meeting. You folks have an important job.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So our next group is the Utah Symphony and Opera. Last year they asked for $9,999. We gave them $9,000. This year they're asking for $999,000 again. But we have Jessica from there, so I will let her in. Hi, how are you tonight?
Hi, I am well. How is everyone here whose cameras are off?
We're all
Doing
tired. Well, thank you for joining us. So you'll have 8 minutes to present. At 6 minutes, I'll just put up my yellow hand and you can kind of see that you'll have 6 more minutes. That should include questions as well. If you need to share your screen, you can do that, but we'll just turn the time over to you.
Excellent. I am going to share my screen. So, all right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Proctor, and I am the Director of Institutional Giving at Utah Symphony Utah Opera. And first, I just want to thank this committee and the city of Orem for your time tonight, as well as for your previous support of our concert series at the NORDA. The mission of Utah Symphony Utah Opera is to connect the community through great live music, perform, engage, inspire. We serve 400,000 Utah residents annually and enhance the state's reputation for the performing arts locally as well as internationally. Our goals are to reimagine symphonic and operatic art forms for new and existing audiences, to creatively enhance the education of children through music instruction, and to provide enrichment to all Utah residents. As one of only 15 full-time orchestras in the United States, Utah Symphony is able to retain top-level musicians in its core of resident artists and to engage foremost guest soloists from the international orchestral circuit. Now in its 3rd season, Utah Symphony's residency at the NORDA Center for Performing Arts at Utah Valley University brings world-class concert experiences to Orem audiences as part of our ongoing presence in northern Utah County. A Utah Symphony performance offers audience members an occasion to gather with fellow community members and as families to share in the power of music to entertain and stir the emotions. Given the rapid growth that Orem has seen in the past several years and is projected to see for the years to come, as well as in the surrounding area, and the high level of interest in live performing arts among its residents, these concerts are a natural fit for the community, and we have seen tremendous community response since initiating the NORDA concert series during our 2018-19 season. Another important component of Utah Symphony's presence in Utah County is our music education program. So far during this school year, a total of 7,098 elementary, middle, and high school students and 252 teachers from 59 Utah County schools have participated in Utah Symphony and Utah Opera education programs. Utah Symphony also performs annually at BYU and Thanksgiving Point, but the cornerstone of our Utah County presence is the NORDA concert series in Orem. We also work with an advisory committee based in Utah County called our Utah County Task Force to help advise our programming, marketing, and overall engagement throughout the Valley with a specific focus on the NORDA concert series. Our 2021-22 season at the NORDA was a great time of growth and learning. We were able to come back to concerts after a season break for COVID, and we hosted 5 concerts throughout the season. The most popular concerts were the ones that bookended the series. In September, we hosted international superstar violinist Hilary Hahn, and most recently, just a few weeks ago, on April 19th, we presented a family series concert designed to engage younger audiences as an accessible first experience with live classical music. The audience for the series this year reached about 2,500. Audiences demonstrated early on in the season that they were ready to return to live performances and have responded well to our shifting safety procedures throughout the year. We are back to almost completely normal concert operations, and we are excited to welcome audiences for our third full season at the Norda during our 22-23 season. Working with our marketing team and our Utah County Task Force, we are beginning to track trends in attendance so that we can anticipate what the most engaging offerings will be for our Utah County audiences in the future. Our 2022-23 series features a diverse array of selections and artists. The series will open on September 15th, 2022, with up-and-coming Serbian French violinist Nemanja Radulovic, featured in Khachaturian's lively and vibrant violin concerto, with Alexander Bloch conducting. The program will also include Bartok's Concerto for Orchestra and Sarajevo's Winter Sky. We will return to Orem on October 20th to present Prokofiev's Piano Concerto No. 3, performed with technical mastery by Andrei Stope, with David Dansmeyer conducting. The program will also include Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 5 and Mussorgsky's Prelude to Kovenshchina. The series will continue on November 3rd, when Utah Symphony's music director Thierry Fischer conducts the orchestra and internationally acclaimed pianist Andrei Korovianikov in Tchaikovsky's Romantic and Lush Piano Concerto No. 1, followed by Ives Symphony No. 2. Orem concertgoers will be able to celebrate a soulful holiday with the Utah Symphony on December 15th, featuring Broadway star and postmodern jukebox member Morgan James. Finally, the orchestra returns on April 11, 2023 for a multimedia family concert entitled Philharmonia Fantastique, The Making of an Orchestra, that will explore the connection between creativity and technology. If granted, Orem Care funding will be designated for expenses associated with these guest artists coming for these concerts. Only about 35% of our annual operating expenses are funded through ticket revenue, which means fundraising is a major part of our regular operations. We do this in an effort to keep ticket costs low and accessible for our patrons, and we offer a pricing structure at the Norda that is designed specifically to make these concerts more accessible for students and large families. Our ultimate goal in providing Utah County concerts is to serve Orem and Utah County's growing population and enhance residents' quality of life with ready access to concert music of the highest caliber. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to take any questions. And I can stop sharing, or I can leave this up if you'd like me to go back to a specific slide.
Any questions for Jessica?
Where is the concert in Orem on December 15th?
That will be at the Norda concert series, the Norda Performing Arts Center on UVU's campus.
Okay, awesome.
And I will add that we are working every year to include a community concert within Orem. It's a matter of finding the right partners and venues to be able to make that happen, but that's something that our team is working to identify and make happen. So hopefully in the coming years, we'll be able to offer that as well, in addition to the Norda concerts.
We have a great library hall.
Well, I'll have to send our ops team down to check it out. A lot of it has to do with stage capacity. There's a lot of factors.
I can imagine.
That I don't understand fully in what we need to accommodate the orchestra for a concert.
Right, any other questions? All right, thanks, Jessica. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much. I'll stop sharing and then thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, see ya. Bye. Okay, we have a break now. We are a little bit behind, so if everyone can come back in 6 minutes. And the next group that's up will be the Utah Cultural Alliance Foundation. They asked for $4,500 last year and they received $1,500. This year they're asking for $4,999, I believe. So does anyone else have any questions before we go into break? Okay, we'll see everybody in at 7. Let's come back at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Fit to Recover, are you on? All right, is everybody back?
Still here.
All right. Okay, well, we will, it looks like we have Ernesto from the Utah Cultural Alliance Foundation that I will let in. Hi, Ernesto. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you.
Oh,
How are you?
great. So you'll have 8 minutes to present. At 6 minutes, I'll raise my yellow hand. So you know you have 2 minutes left. And you can share your screen if you need to, and we'll turn the time over to the Care Commission. So it's all yours.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Let me share my screen. All right. Is everyone able to view the screen? Fantastic. Well, again, as was said, my name is Ernesto Balderas. I am the Communications Director for Utah Cultural Alliance, and I'd like to thank you very much, Commission members, for your time tonight and for the opportunity to present on behalf of the Utah Cultural Alliance Foundation. So, a brief, what do we do? If any of you don't know who we are Utah Cultural Alliance Foundation, and one of our chief programs is nowplayingutah.com. So as part of nowplayingutah.com, we serve as the premier events website for cultural events and indeed all events across the state of Utah. And we work to truly communicate and amplify both the value and presence of cultural businesses across the state, large, small, and everything in between. We do this by allowing for free posting of all events on our website with opportunities and access to additional paid advertising options like calendar exports, dedicated email blasts, and other options that anybody can request. So the reason I am presenting today is obviously to request $4,999 in a fiscally responsible investment for the purposes of our More Than Just Mountains marketing campaign. Now, this marketing campaign is specifically funded in a greater amount by the Utah Office of Tourism, and this $4,999 investment would be to match a portion of the $76,000 that we have received from the Utah Office of Tourism. And as part of this campaign, we are running radio ads, social media advertisements, and print advertisements within the state of Utah, Colorado, California, Nevada, and Idaho. All of this is to try and communicate the message that Utah is more than just the ski slopes that we have or the southern Utah Red Rocks, which are beautiful, enormous, huge parts of Utah tourism. But in fact, we have a thriving arts and cultural scene and environment here in the state of Utah that we want everyone, especially out of state, to know more about. So within Now Playing Utah, our site viewership is quite something to behold. That it was even a surprise for us as we conducted a thorough analysis earlier this year. Between the period of 2014 and 2017 and 2018 to 2021, between those two periods, we have experienced a 91.9% viewer growth in terms of the annual average viewers that are seen on our website and that actually go to our website to view events. You can also see in the graph that I have on the screen, all of our relevant performance indicators did decrease in 2020 slightly due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but you can also see that we have recovered in quite a significant way, and we expect that this growth will continue through in 2022. In addition, some of the impact for Now Playing Utah and cultural businesses has been quite immense as well. Again, using those same time periods of 2014 to 2017 and 2018 to 2021, you can see just from the numbers on the screen, the enormous jump in how we are able to impact the average annual ticket purchases initiated toward businesses and the average annual click-through to organizations, to where there was a 750% click-to-organization growth just between those two periods. And we expect that that will continue to grow. Now, this is not completely related to organic growth, but also to paid growth. Last year, we conducted the Now Playing in Utah marketing campaign, which is what this More Than Just Mountains marketing campaign is going to be modeled after, and which we were able to generate over 3 million impressions in online ad revenue, in online ad viewership across social media. And we were able to generate over 75,000 ticket purchases initiated through those social media ads. So we expect that the success from that campaign will translate over to this campaign. Now, why exactly is this relevant to the city of Orem? Well, on nowplayingutah.com, we represent 53 cultural organizations, 47 venues, and over 256 events marketed just in 2021. Within the graph that you see here, you can also see that our growth within just Orem viewership, this is specifically from Google Analytics that shows the true real data of Orem viewership that heads to our website. These are the amount of unique viewers and unique users that we have on our website. And that has increased to a little over 17,000 since 2017, which was only about 8,000. So we have significantly increased our presence and benefit to those who live in Orem and organizations who reside in Orem as well, to generate, again, what I showed you before, those ticket purchases, that viewership, the notoriety of wonderful organizations in the state, in the city of Orem. So I'd just like to say that I believe that this is a fiscally responsible investment in the More Than Just Mountains marketing campaign. And I know that this money will be used appropriately in marketing the wonderful cultural events and businesses that are available in the city of Orem. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to working with you.
Any questions?
So yeah, I had a question. This is Spencer Rands. I had a question about that grant from the state of Utah. You said $76,000. You said matching. So does that mean you have to get funds and then they'll match it up to 76,000, or what was the meaning of the matching part?
Sure. No, we have already received the Utah Office of Tourism grant of 76,000, but as a requirement for receiving that grant, we are required to match it with other funds. So what I had meant when I said matching is that these funds would be applicable toward matching that Utah Office of Tourism co-op.
So it is matching. So if you guys don't raise $76,000 from other sources, then you won't get as much from them. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
And then secondly, of the traffic to the website, what percent of it is that paid, organic? What's the kind of breakdown on that?
62% is organic, with the rest 38% being paid. I know that one because I looked up Google Analytics this morning. So,
any other questions? Well, thank you, Ernesto. Have a good evening.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right, our next presenter is from the National Institute for Story. This is Sherry. Last year they asked for $4,995. We gave them $4,000. This year they're only asking for $3,500. So there's one that's asking for less. And so we will let her in now. Hi, Sherry, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So you will have 8 minutes to present.
Okay.
You can share your screen if you need to. At 6 minutes, I'll put up my yellow hands. You know, you have 2 minutes left, and that includes questions. So we will have you start presenting now to our Care Commission. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. Yes, I do have a presentation, so let me start with that. I'm here requesting a grant for a story camp, which is sponsored by the National Institute for Story. It is a summer camp teaching the art of storytelling. Story camp was started the first year that CARE grants were granted to these Orem arts organizations. It has allowed storytelling for children throughout Orem, the art of storytelling. And indeed, our kids from these camps have come from all across Orem. This is a detail of the flyer that we have for this year. It will be held in June. Not only do kids learn how to perform stories, how to select stories, but we also do story writing. And as you can see by some of these pictures, they've found it to be a lot of fun to create and write down their own stories. So story camp is fun, educational, and rewarding. So why storytelling? Well, it strengthens the imagination and the creativity. It encourages critical thinking. We understand ourselves through stories. People seem to be wired to connect to story. And indeed, it does connect people and cultures. A well-known storyteller from New York said, storytelling can be a nurturing way to remind children that their spoken words are powerful, that listening is important, and that clear communication between people is an art. So we've had feedback from our parents, which we value. One parent told us, I loved how much writing and reading my son did this week. That's as opposed to sitting home all summer long and playing video games. Another said, we were pleased with the public speaking confidence that she gets. Another mother who has an autistic daughter said her daughter would never perform at their home, but when she got to story camp, she would perform in front of her peers. And this meant so much to the mother. She'd kind of peek in and watch her daughter, so her daughter didn't know she was watching her. The kids have also told us how much they enjoy camp. My favorite part was writing the stories that we made up. Another said, I like that you taught me not to be afraid. Another, I am going to go home and teach my family about storytelling. And another, when I go to bed, I always can't wait for the next lesson. The kids that we have had in story camp have gone on to tell stories in their own schools. A few have even gone on to perform at the Timpanogos Storytelling Festival. We've had kids go on and to be student body officers in their schools. One girl told her mother that she wasn't afraid to campaign in front of her peers because she'd been to story camp and learned how to present her ideas. Others have gone on to continue their love of writing, and others just, they know how to present and speak in school and other places where they're asked to. And so one of the things that has been a concern for us, that for years and years, we have been hosted by the Orem Library, and very grateful. It's been wonderful to have that facility at our disposal every summer, and the parents would know to look there. When the library hall was built, the library has chosen not to host as many community activities as they have in the past. And one of the things that was lost for us is that we are no longer sponsored by the library. So we did ask for some more money for the CARE grant just to cover the rent, but though we received more, it was not enough to cover the rent for the library hall. So this year we are going to a school. It'll be the first year that we won't be at the Orem Library, but we still have rent to pay. And so the money that we did receive, the extra, will pay for the rent. We also have to come up with insurance. The library always provided that as well. So the fund, their cost of running it has gone up just because we've lost a valuable sponsor, but we still are able to go forward, and we're grateful for Orem for funding us year after year. So thank you. Do you have questions for me?
Any questions?
So how many, on the average, how many kids do you have attend your workshops?
From 30 to 40.
Each camp, or you have 2 camps, right?
We have 2 camps. So yeah, each camp can be up to 40.
And you normally get that on a regular basis?
When the schools no longer had to send flyers home, the attendance went down, but I've talked to some of the principals in Orem and we're able to send paper again. So I think that we'll be able to get the numbers back up again.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you for
Thank you
coming
so much
and
for your
presenting
time. I
tonight.
appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
All right, so our next group is the Timpanogos Symphony Orchestra. This is their first year requesting. They're requesting $4,999. If you guys saw your email today, they have kind of changed their request or what their request is for from their original application. They're still requesting the same amount of money, but to do it in a little bit different way, just so that you know. And it looks like we have Brent Butler, so I will let him in. Any questions on that change? All right. Hi, Brent. You're on mute.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. So thanks for joining us. We're a little bit ahead of schedule instead of being behind. So we'll let you start a little bit early.
That's awesome.
So you'll have 8 minutes to present. At 6 minutes, I will raise my yellow hand. So you know how you'll have 2 more minutes to go. And that needs to include questions as well. And they are aware of the change that you guys made in your application. And so we'll just turn the time over to you. You can share your screen. You'll see the green at the bottom of the screen if you need to do that. So
sounds good. I don't have a slide presentation, but I put together just a document I thought we could go through, and I've got about 5 minutes and then we can take questions and answers.
All right, go ahead.
I'll share my screen. All right, tell me when you can see it.
We can see it.
Awesome. So first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Brent Butler. I'm the president of the Timpanogos Symphony Orchestra. I thought we'd start out by just introducing the organization. This fall, we'll be starting our 12th season. We're a local nonprofit, 501c3. We were founded by John Pugh, who is our conductor. Currently, we have 75 musicians in the orchestra, plus several dozen alternates as the case might be needed. They are volunteers. They do it out of the love of music and the kindness of their hearts. They love to share their talents. And even though they are volunteers, we do have auditions. And so we feel that we really have the cream of the crop as far as talented musicians go. We're well established and very well respected in the Utah Valley. There are a lot of good orchestras in Utah Valley, but I think arguably we could say that we're the best. And then I also wanted to share a little bit about what our mission is, which is to present the highest quality performances which inspire audiences and inspire youth to become musicians themselves and to love music. We love that ability to nurture and foster symphonic music with those upcoming youth, and to enrich the lives and the cultural life of those in the communities we serve. Up to this point, we've majorly been performing at the Timberline Middle School, which is in Alpine. We've been there almost, our entire 12 years. And back in February of this year, we performed at the Orem City Library in the concert hall there. We really liked it. They liked us. And so for this upcoming season, we're actually performing 3 of our concerts there at the Orem Library Hall. We've got our Halloween concert, a February Masterworks concert, and then we have an Inspiring Musicians concert, which we do every other year, which brings youth together in a talent competition, and they get to perform with the orchestra, and everybody loves that. We've also worked with UVU for many years. We're currently working on a Christmas performance with their chorale to be performed at the Norda. So we know the 3 concerts will happen at the Orem Library Hall, but we believe that 4 of our 6 concerts are going to be performed in Orem. And we're hoping to use this as a springboard to move to Orem permanently. We really enjoyed our time there. Our goal is to hopefully someday be the official orchestra of Orem City. We see benefits for both partners, Orem City and the organization, in doing so. We know that Orem is a cultural center, and we also believe that at some point there was a desire to have an orchestra for Orem City. We think that we can certainly complement all of the arts that are available in Orem and enrich the lives of the residents there. So why are we here tonight? We're applying for a grant to have an educational concert. We believe that 1,000 Title I students are available for this concert. It will be on October 28th during the day. We will bus in students from the different schools, and we're going to have a very fun Halloween themed history of symphonic music. So we plan to use the grant as a small stipend for the crew, the staff, and the musicians themselves. Because this will be during the day, they give up their time at work, and we'd like to provide something for them, as well as using it for busing to get the students to the concert. And we'd love your consideration, and I'll open it up for questions.
Any questions? For Brent? All right, well, you did a great job, Brent. No questions, so.
Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to email us. I'm happy to answer anything that might come up. I know it's spur of the moment, put you on the spot with any questions, but I appreciate your time tonight.
All right, have a good night. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep, have a great night. Bye-bye.
So our next group, they haven't gotten on yet, so they're not scheduled for 6 more minutes. I never know how to say this, but it's the African Cultural Center. They asked for $97.50 last year. We gave them $4,000. That was their first year applying, and they've asked again now for $97.50. Does anyone have any questions or discussion they want to have before we, or does everyone just want to take a few minute break?
And I have a question on the Timpanogos Symphony Orchestra. What did they ask for and receive last year?
They're a brand
Their
new
first time?
ask. Yeah, this
Okay.
is their first time.
Okay.
So they're asking for $49.99 right
Okay.
now.
Great. I got that. I thinking, why didn't I write down that number?
The others,
So that's
yeah.
why. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone come back in 4 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Right, is everyone back?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
I'm here.
All right, we have Leslie Hatfield with us, and I will let her in. Leslie? You're on mute.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine. There you go.
All right.
All right. Well, Leslie, you'll have 8 minutes to present. At 6 minutes, I'll put my yellow hand up so you know you have 2 more minutes. That includes that also includes questions as well. And it looks like, is it how does she say her name?
Bybee.
Yeah, she's coming on too. So I will admit her as well. All right, we'll turn the time over to both of you. This is our care commission. You need to share your screen, the green button at the bottom.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you so much for listening to us this evening. Bybee and I just quickly talked before we came on. And so I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction and then turn the time over to Bybee. So what I'm going to do is share well, actually, let me do this. I'll share my screen so that you can see our organization's website. We are excited because we have been growing and we've had a lot of really good developments within the past year since we were last here. And the African Heritage Festival that we've put on, which we've asked money for, has been one of those things that has really helped our group grow. So just as a reminder, or for anyone who is new here, this is the Ngoma Y'Africa Cultural Center, a 501c3 nonprofit that works on bringing people together of African heritage so that people from different places from the African continent and the African diaspora can meet and nurture their culture and create a spirit of what we call Ubuntu, which means humanity and unity in a number of African languages. And you can see from the website, we have a number of different programs. There are, if I can scroll down here, you can look on social media. You can go and look at the history since we've been around since 2016, and the woman dancing there is Yvonne Nsabimana, and it's really been her vision to bring people together. And we have different programs. There's the Ngoma program, and Ngoma means dance or song or rhythm, and that's one of the things that really drives our group currently, to bring people together and enjoy the music and culture from different parts of Africa. We also have storytelling, which is jifunza, meaning to learn. And we have been offering classes online in French and Swahili. French is very widely spoken on the African continent. And there's been also other projects that we've done that is experiencing African culture through art, crafts, other workshops that we do. And then especially Yvonne Nsabimana has been involved in conversations about race and culture that have been happening. So that's an overview of our program. And in the interest of time, I just want to show a few pictures from our last year's Heritage Festival. And we, just so you had a visual in case you couldn't make it, we had a wonderful 4 to 5 hour festival. You can see a number of people hung out. We had our honorary king and queen here. And there were a number of things going on. We had children and adults, people from the community, all involved in performing. And there was a story that went throughout the performances. We also included poetry and some other speeches, short speeches from people in the community. We brought together Africans as well as African Americans. You can see some famous people from the community, some from the Bonner family here, Alex Boye. And we also had things such as the Utah Black History Museum bus came, and we had drumming and dancing workshops throughout the day as well. It was a very successful event, and we especially from the university place, they gave us the feedback that they felt people stayed for most of the time. And we had about 500 around, we estimate about 500 people who came, and all the stations were busy, and there was this feeling of inclusion and belonging there. So I'm going to let Brenn say a few things.
Thank you so much for this opportunity you've given us to present about our organization. The festival was a great success, and I really like the feedback as I spoke to the guests, the people from the audience on that particular day. They were so intrigued and they were so happy to learn about the African culture and to know what the things that are most important to the African culture, how it's different to life here in the United States. And they felt like it was a great learning opportunity, which helped them to have a better view of other cultures within Utah. And so it was really a successful event, and we are looking forward to an even better event this year as we add on more activities, as we include more partners, and as we improve on some of the things that we feel we could do better on compared to last year's one. Mm-hmm.
Any questions? Okay, there's the hand from Ken.
Any questions?
Or is there anything else that you would like to know in particular about our organization? We can talk about that in specifically.
So I don't have a question, but I enjoyed that event tremendously. So it was super fun. So I have to agree with everyone who went there. That was one of the funnest things I did. So thank you.
Wonderful to hear. Thank you. All
right, if there's not any more questions, thank you for being with us tonight. We wish you well, and we'll see you soon.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
We appreciate your support.
Okay, so our next presenter will be the Utah Chinese Association. I believe we have Mary with us. Last year they asked for 8,000. I think this was their first year asking last year. They did receive 4,000. They are asking for 10. We're going to ask them to reduce that to 999 so that they're actually mid-majors and not majors. So that's kind of where we're at with them. But I will let Mary in. Hi, Mary. How are you tonight?
Hello.
How are you tonight?
I'm fine, thank you.
Oh, good. So you'll have 8 minutes to present. At 6 minutes, I'll put up the yellow hand so you know you'll have 2 minutes left. That needs to include questions as well. And so I will turn the time over to you to go to the Care Commission. If you need to share your screen, there's a little green button at the bottom.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
We can, yes.
Yeah. And we are going to have our event like this one, like a dragon dancing. And like a food competition. This is different dumplings. Now we have all the people come to teach them to how to make dumplings, and then can eat dumplings. And we have some Chinese craft. Here the people that are from the older community, white, black, anyone can are welcome to join us. Yeah, here is there is a teaching make dumplings with learning. And then we have some folk art performance, something like everyone could join us to learn how to perform the Chinese art. Yeah, here's our Chinese folk art. And this is something we already did in the past. And we are going to do this one on May 21st on Orem Park. And we are planning for do this again next year in Orem. Yeah, something I'm finished. So so right now I introduce our organization, and we Utah Chinese Association was 7 years old, and since we have been created, we have organized about 300 events in the past, and all the different kind of culture events for Utah people, and we not only for Chinese community. And so we scheduled an event on May 21st on Orem Park. And that it is a one-day event, and we will have the Chinese food and the Chinese culture, and for Orem people. It's something we were to do in this month. So I think I've been introduced myself. I want to, maybe anyone wanted to ask me questions, maybe I can answer more.
Does anyone have any questions for Mary? Well, you're doing a lot of fun things. You're always sending me email, and you're always doing something fun. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you received my email. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. You've always got some fun going on. Any other questions for Mary?
Mary, you mentioned your event in May. Did you say that's at the library center?
Library center, it is just it's closer to a recreation center. It is this is a park, Orem Park, not the outdoor theater.
Okay, thank you. And where did you do it last year? Where did you hold that last year?
And last year, I worked for other, like for Salt Lake County and the Park City. And then last year, I did not work for Orem City. I started to apply this grant since last year. So my first work is this May 21st.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Mary? All right, well, thank you, Mary. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Our next group is called Fit to Recover. This is a new application. They as well have asked for 10,000, so we will be asking them to reduce that to 9,999. And they have been waiting the whole time. So hopefully they'll be excited to get in. I tried to talk to them during the break and they couldn't get on. So we'll see how it's going, but we'll let them in now. Hello, Fit to Recover. Can you hear us? Are they there? Oh, there they are. Can you hear us? You're on mute. Are you off mute now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for waiting the whole time. I was trying to talk to you, but I never could get your attention, so I apologize.
I'm not too IT savvy, so I had my operations officer set me up so when I got done with class, I could just come on.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right. And what is your name?
My name is Ian Acker.
Oh, hi, Ian. Thanks for joining us tonight. So you're with our Care Commission. You will have 8 minutes to present. At 6 minutes, I'll hold up the yellow hand and you'll know that you have 2 additional minutes. And so just that should include questions. If you need to share your screen, there's a little green button at the bottom. So we'll turn the time over to you. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I was going to do a presentation, but I thought I'd just kind of tell a little bit about my story, about kind of what we're going to try and do in Orem and field some questions at the end. My name is Ian Acker, and I'm in long-term recovery from substance misuse. I've been sober for 10 years. And, you know, a lot of my upbringing and a lot of what happened in my life was due to the foundation that I built Fit to Recover off of. I was in special education in 6th grade. That taught me 2 things. The first thing it taught me was how to treat people, but it also made me feel different than everybody else. And then I had some traumatic things happen to me when I was 15. And I had someone pass away in front of me, and in my fight or flight response to my brain, I wanted to disappear, and I used drugs and alcohol to cope with a lot of pain and a lot of sorrow. But it's also allowed me to really connect with other people, because I know what it feels like to not be seen. I know what it feels like to not be heard and kind of pushed to the side. So it's been kind of my life mission to really support people that aren't seen, because I know how that feels. And in 2012, I got out of treatment for the last time. And the last time I got out of treatment, I knew I had this gift with people and connecting with people. And I connected best with people after a workout. So I'd go to the park and I'd work out with people. And then we talk about our recovery. We talk about our feelings. We talk about how we were doing. And you fast forward 2 years, I got a donation to open a building. And mind you, I went to school for business, but I didn't grasp real education. I fell to the back of the class like I usually did, but I understood, how to write emails and do different things of that nature. And in Utah, I made it my home, and I built an organization over the 4 things that I like to do. I used to think that I was a rapper, so I really like music. And I have a music video out there. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I would send my mom my music and different things of that nature, and she would politely say, Ian, I think we need to find a different route for you. But projecting voice and hearing sound and telling a story, I think is really important for people in recovery. So we have a creative arts pillar. I always ate well. I think that the dopamine spike with the Red Bulls and everything else, and you go up and down, up and down, up and down, that can trigger a lot of uneasy feelings. So we teach people how to have a relationship with food. It's not black and white, and it's our nutrition pillar. So we do meal prep, and I'll get into a little bit of that stuff. But then we have service. Whenever I'm of service to somebody else, I get out of my head and into my heart. So we do quarterly service projects, and we're of service to people around the community when we can be. And the last one is fitness. Fitness is what I'm most versed in. And all of these 4 pillars come from creating a safe space. And safety to me means seeing people, learning people's names, making people feel important, making people feel special. And then everything else that we do in between that doesn't really matter. So we have fitness, creative arts, nutrition, and service. And those are just vehicles for people in recovery to connect. Because people need things to do. They need to share a meal. And when they share a meal, then they start to talk about where they're from, how they're doing, but they need some type of distraction. So that was in Salt Lake City. We're down near Glendale. That's our first location. And last year we had 20,000 people through the door. We prepared 4,000 meals. We did 1,500 hours of community service, and we had 750 check-ins from our creative arts pillar. And the idea has been, so well received that we wanted to come down to Orem and do the same thing. So we have a building now in Orem. It's right off University Parkway, and we are running fitness and creative arts classes right now. And a lot of those, it's slow rolling and it's slow building, but we're just excited to be down there. And I think that's kind of why we're talking to you guys, is because I'm all connection based and relationship based. And, I think what you guys do for the city is great. And, we want to do some great stuff in that city as well. We've proved it down here, and we've also, we've had a good start down there. We just need more resources and more people to take to lunch and really connect with, because a lot of our staff is still in Salt Lake. So if we could find more staff in Utah County, I think that it would bolster our brand down there as well and help more people. We also have a certification process, so we're in the heights of trying to take this to a national level. If we just wanted to put brick and mortars all over the place, we're finding that it would be too expensive, and it would be too hard to manage. So what we do is we bring people to Salt Lake, and we teach them about culture setting, safety, connection, trauma, how we run classes, because everything we do here is intentional. And then we let them bring it back if they certify in what we do, then they bring it back to their community and they help more people that way. So we have one in Connecticut, we have one in Breckenridge, and we have one in Texas. But like I said, the one that we're talking about now is the one in Orem, and we're just excited to be down there. And I'm excited for the opportunity to be able to share with you guys what's so near and dear to my heart. I think I've been put on this earth to be the person that sees the people, because for so long in my life, like, I didn't feel that, I didn't feel that, and I want to give back to the community however we can, and really spread some positivity and do that through the 4-pillar approach that we have down in Salt Lake. So I just feel really grateful that you guys invited me to talk. So that's kind of Fit to Recover in a nutshell. Ian Acker is still emotional. He still gets sad. He still gets depressed. He still gets anxious. I'm a chronic overthinker. I like hip hop music, and I'm grateful to be here. So.
Well, thank you for being here, and congratulations on your sobriety. I know that's awfully hard. So congratulations on that. Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. You go first.
I've just been checking out the website for the Salt Lake site, and it looks pretty cool. So it's like all kinds of things that you're doing. Are you getting anyway? So looks like there's a lot of like party, like they're getting together, like gatherings where they're getting together for support, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. That looks pretty cool.
Our creative arts pillar, part of the music group that we do, is and we just did one in Orem actually last week, is music group is an 8-week program, and then they get to perform in front of an audience.
Okay.
So it's about allowing people to find their voice, and be heard, because I think a lot of people want to be heard. And it's really cool to see some of the creativity and some of the passion that people have in early recovery. If you give them a canvas, they'll paint a beautiful picture. So it's been fun to watch.
Can I clarify about the Orem location? Is that fully open and running yet?
Yeah, it is. So we work with 4 treatment centers down there. We started at the beginning of the year, and we run just 4 classes right now, because we're taking staff from Salt Lake and driving down. So I think what we want to do is we want to find a permanent coach down there, so we wouldn't have to go back and forth, and they could build it through the community down there.
Awesome.
But it's been great down there. I mean, you guys are great down there. It's really, people are friendly, and there's a crumble cookie right next to us, and crumble cookie.
That's part of the creative arts part, right?
That's right.
I like that.
So
are you Ian, are you a recovery center, or are you a place for people that are in the process of recovery and giving them a place to come and be together with other folks that might be going through the same things? In other words, are you offering services that will help people to recover from addiction, or are you another venue or another opportunity just for them to come together and partake of those 4 pillars that you talked about to help them in the recovery process, wherever that might be?
Yeah, good question. So we don't do any clinical. We don't have, I mean, I have therapists that are coaches and therapists that are music therapists, but we all do community-based work. So all we promise is that we'll keep you safe emotionally and physically, and that we'll give you a place to connect. So we found a lot of, because people you go to treatment so many times. I went to treatment 5 times, and I was just like, I've already heard everything that everyone's already said. And there's nothing more for me here. So I need to find a community that'll hold me accountable, that I can participate in, that I feel safe in, that accepts me. There is a time for treatment, and like when I was withdrawing, I had to be in treatment. But I think that we're going to see a lot more community engagement with people in recovery because of the community aspect of it. So yeah, we're a bridge for people when they get out of treatment or they don't have the resources to go to treatment. But yeah, we promise safety and connection.
And on that note, what treatment centers are you guys working with right now?
In Salt Lake or in
the ones in Orem in Utah County?
Ardu, Life Balance, Next Step, and Steps.
Okay, so no Reflections or like Foothill through Wasatch?
No, we want to get into Foothill a lot, and in Reflections, I know they're going through a transition right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we would. He said he was going to call me. We're friends with him, so.
Okay. Awesome. Is that Matt Draper, or are you talking about Foothill? Reflections?
Reflections, yeah.
Okay.
Foothill, we'd love to do something with them.
You know what? If you can put your email in the chat, I can email you the person that you'd want to talk to about that.
Awesome.
So.
You're fantastic.
Oh, no problem. And thanks, Jeff. You asked my question, which was clinical or not. So thanks for getting that covered earlier. Okay. Ian, I will email you tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Laurel.
No problem.
Right. Any other questions for Ian?
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, Jeff.
So this money that you're asking for, how specifically would it be applied?
I think the big thing would be, we'd like to get some more equipment. I think we'd also like to find we'd like to run some programs for the youth down there as well. And we'd also like to find somebody that lives down there that can help us share the message of Fit to Recover. So a coach or somebody that can just be in the mix, because we found that that's how you build things, is you kind of got to be there. So it would really help with staffing and a program for the youth. We've been talking to a few, and just to get down and back, it's a commute, you know.
Yep.
Awesome. I have a question for you guys, if that's okay. How do you think addiction is pretty prevalent down in Utah County? I mean,
Yes.
It's pretty bad, huh?
Yes.
So Ian, I work at an at-risk high school.
Yeah.
That is the exact youth population you're talking about. So just trauma, just the worst stories you've ever, you've seen. And so, and there's multiple schools like that in Utah County. So there's quite the population here for that. So.
Yeah. And I think part of our idea with the youth is to make it attractive to like get sober, and not in a way of like, you have to get sober, you're going to die, because that's not attractive to me. But it's like, I was going through a lot of this stuff, and I can look you in the eyes and I can say my life has gotten better, and my life is better because I don't drink or use drugs, and I think youth they just need mentors that they want to be like, you know what I mean? So the youth is part of the prevention piece that I'd really like to tap into.
Right. Any other questions for Ian? Well, thank you, Ian, for sharing your story and being with us tonight. We wish you well, and we will be in touch. So thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks for your great work, Ian.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Jeff.
Okay, we're almost there, everybody. We're getting there. One last person. So this is Viva Brazil. This is the one that is rescheduled from the other night. And so I will let her, I don't know who's coming, so we'll see who it is. Hi, Wilson.
Everybody.
How are you?
I'm
Wasn't
great. How
sure
are
if it
you?
really was going to be you or who was going to be. So thank
Yeah.
you for joining us.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
We appreciate that. So you're with our care commission. If you need to share your screen, there's a green button down at the bottom.
Wonderful.
And we will give you 8 minutes to present. 6 minutes, I will raise a yellow hand, and to know that you'll have 2 minutes left. And so we'll just turn the time over to you. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I know you guys have been doing this for 2 hours, looks like already. So let's jump right in. So my name is Wilson Bosnick. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Viva Brazil Cultural Center. So the Viva Brazil Cultural Center is a nonprofit founded in 2009 here in Utah that has a mission of promoting Brazilian art, tradition, music, culture, language, you name it. Essentially, we're here to support the Brazilian community in Utah. So I want to talk a little bit. The center does a lot of things. Namely, we have a Brazilian scholarship fund for students of Brazilian descent. We've worked a lot with the dual language immersion program here in Utah County and in Salt Lake County to get that started, where now I think there are over 40 schools that have Portuguese programs, which is really awesome. And we also work with some other organizations to bring Brazilian talent, to promote Brazilian events, and all of that. But today I really want to talk to you about the Utah Brazilian Festival. This is our flagship event. It's really what we're the most known for. It's something that we've been doing for now 17 years. This will be our 18th year of the festival. The slogan is, if you can't go to Brazil, come to the Utah Brazilian Festival. And it's essentially a big day of food and music and meeting a lot of friends and a lot of colors. It's really a lot of fun. It's every year in September. September 7th is Brazil's Independence Day, so it's usually the weekend around then. I want to tell you guys a little bit about the history of the festival. So the festival actually started before the center became a nonprofit in 2005. The very first Brazilian festival was at Thanksgiving Point. And after then, it was held at the MacKay Event Center at what was UVSC back in the day, now UVU. we were there for 2 years, and then in 2008, the festival moved up to Salt Lake City. That was partially because our sponsors were in Salt Lake, and also because at the time there were more opportunities for funding around then. In 2009 is when we became a nonprofit, and after then we were eligible for grants, right? So when we first started in Utah County, the festivals would have between 2,000 and 3,000 people. But over the 10 years that we were in Salt Lake, the festival grew a lot. We actually were able to almost quadruple the size of the festival. There were between 8,000 and 10,000 people there in those later years, which was really, really exciting. And the festival developed a lot there too. We introduced the Samba Parade, which is what you're seeing here on the picture. For the first like 45 minutes of the party, it's a big parade that it used to be in the streets in Salt Lake, and now that we're in Orem, it's actually through the University Place Mall, which is really fun too. But it's a really great way for the community to get involved, and it's really colorful, and we kind of bring Carnival here to Utah, which is really, really cool. But the festival, like I said, it's a day of music and great food, and it's not just for Brazilians. I would say that maybe 60 or 70% of the people there are Brazilians, but the others are people from the community who either have ties to Brazil because of religious missions, or because they spent some time there, or just because they know it's a great country and they want to come and celebrate it with us. But the aim of the festival has always been education and connecting communities, and especially to help families teach their children about Brazilian culture and things like that. And I know that for me, that's been really important. I'm Brazilian American. I was born and raised here, and so every year at the festival, I get to kind of connect with my Brazilian side in a way that's really meaningful to me. In 2018, the festival moved back from Salt Lake City back home to Orem, which was really awesome. I think it's important to know that even when we were in Salt Lake City, the majority of the public that would come to the festival was driving up from Utah County, and a lot of them were in that Orem Provo area. You guys must be aware there's a huge Brazilian population there. And so when we came to Orem, it really did feel like coming home. And this bottom picture here, I really love. All of these t-shirts in the green you can see, those are all the students from the Portuguese dual language immersion program. And you can see just like how many people are there. It's really, really fun. I want to talk a little bit about the impact that the festival has had in the Brazilian community. Now, when the festival first started 18 years ago, there were, of course, Brazilians living in Utah, but they really were not unified. And the festival has done so much to unify and to strengthen this community. First of all, it's been a launch pad for Brazilian entrepreneurs. A lot of the vendors who come through the festival, especially food vendors, have used it as a launch pad to start their own businesses, whether that be catering or full-fledged restaurants. Stephanie's Bakery, Viva Brazil, the Brazilian market there in Orem, Delicato, who you might recognize. Other than that, it's also an amazing platform for local talent and for local people who are also trying to promote Brazilian culture. This is the flagship Brazilian event in Utah. It's the biggest one that there is, and it's really the biggest stage that we can get them on. And so even though we do bring talent from out of state and talent from Brazil as much as we can, we also try to get a lot of local artists up on that stage. Here on the left, you can see this is Aquarela do Brasil. They're a dance troupe from here in Utah that performs traditional folkloric dance from Brazil, which is really cool. All in all, it's a very highly anticipated event in the Brazilian community and something that everybody looks forward to. Here on the right, I put a picture of, this is Vanubia Siller. She's a resident of Orem. She's been there for over 10 years. And I really love this picture, not just because she looks great and she's so happy, but she's also the founder and owner of Delicato Gourmet, which you may recognize because they bought Terra Mia there in Orem. And they actually started as a booth at the Brazilian festival selling salgadinhos, and now are a full-fledged and very, very popular Brazilian restaurant in Orem. And they started at the festival, which is really cool. And Vanubia is also one of the main dancers in the Samba Parade, as you can see here. So since coming to Orem, the festival has grown. We've increased attendance by 20% just in the past 3 years, and that's without really raising our budget. And we've also been closer to our community in a way that has been really, really meaningful. Going forward, we're looking to grow the festival a little bit more, so we're increasing our budget, and we want to bring some more diversity, especially in styles of music and styles of tradition to the festival. So Speaking of funding the festival, the main way that we fund it is through sponsors. Tucanos is our main sponsor, and we have a couple other corporate sponsors. We also have some local businesses that have, an interest in the Brazilian community that sponsor the event, like Martin's Auto Body right there on State Street. That's a Brazilian-owned auto body shop. Lumos Language School has a lot of Brazilian students. Fillmore and Spencer, they're prominent immigration lawyers there in Orem. We get about $20,000 to $25,000 in funding from our sponsors, and the other, some more money comes from some generous donations from individuals in the community, and the rest of it really comes from grant programs like yours. All in all, it costs about $43,000 to put the festival together. So last year, we were able to get $4,000 from the CARE program, which was incredible and we're so grateful for. This year, we're asking for $8,000, and that money is going to be going towards bringing some artists from Brazil, as well as paying artists from here in Utah to really get them up on that stage, as well as renting equipment, other rentals, including tables and chairs, things like that, and $1,000 in marketing. This festival really means a lot to our community, and we're so grateful that we're able to do it there in Orem. Even with this pandemic in the past 3 years, the festival has been growing, and we anticipate it's going to grow even more, and we'd love to have your support as we go there. So, muito obrigado, and now I'll pass it back over to you if you have any questions.
Any questions? Well, it looks like tons and tons of fun. So thank you.
It is. I want to know actually if any of you had the chance to come to the festival. If you haven't, it's September 10th this year, and we're really looking forward to it. So
awesome. Well, thank you. Have a good evening. You're our last presenter. So
yeah,
thank you.
That's what I heard. Hey, well, thank you so much. You have a great night. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, we made it. So, Brenn, I don't know if you want to share your screen. You want me to share the screen so we can start deliberations? Does anyone want a 5-minute break? Or do you want to just get it done?
I'm good to keep going.
Okay, everyone good to keep going? Okay.
Yep.
So I think if I share my screen, Brenn, I think we can all still, we have connect, since it's in Google, we should be able to. So can everyone see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I apologize, Kenna, for coming in and out of the waiting room all night.
Oh, you're fine. I hope I keep trying to watch, and then all of a sudden you were there again.
No, we were good. I was able to listen the whole time.
Oh,
but
awesome.
My screen sharing was not there. But now finally I left where I was at, and I'm sitting in a random parking lot where I have internet so that I can.
Oh, well, thank you for
see
being in a
screens
random
now.
parking lot in Virginia somewhere. So
yeah.
Kenna,
that's great. Yes, Brenn.
Kenna, if you go to the next sheet over, I just made a new sheet that had just the minis and mid majors on it.
Okay, this one? No.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, that one.
It.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
All right. So, Brenn, do you know how much money we have available?
So that's more of a question in terms of specifically for mini and mid majors for. That's a question for Dave and Jeff in terms of how much we want to set aside for these types of specific requests. So you can see the totals there. We've got about 150,000 in total requests. In previous years, I think this commission has tried to be around the 70 to 80,000 in awards. That being said, I do think there's overall a little bit more money this year in terms of what's available for care taxes due to our sales tax. Well, the care tax is associated with the sales tax and kind of mirrors that. And so there is a little bit more total money available. But the question would be is if our council wanted to consider more dollars set aside for specifically the mini and mid-major applications.
So Kenny, you added some,
I just took those down from the 10,000 to the 9,999.
so did it change on the bottom of the screen? Did it change on?
I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. Let me go back.
I don't think it did.
Oh, it did.
Did it?
Yeah.
It'd just be a couple dollars.
Oh, is that all you did? You just took it from a $1? Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Or a penny.
A
Oh,
penny.
no, a dollar.
Dollar. There you go.
So I'll just give my 2 cents. I think the total awards at $103,000, that's too high personally. We got to remember that these care tax money is for, it's to help these people get going, but it's not to sustain them. And I think that's what I think last Monday, we talked about that. And I think there were a lot of choral groups and a lot of other things. So I just think that, so last year we were at what, 70?
We've typically been in the 70 to 80,000 range, but
so we were,
these need to be organized a little bit different. The total request between minis and mid majors is almost 150,000.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like last year we did a little over almost 80,000.
So you're saying last year with both the mids and the majors, we did 80,000. So we did take.
If you add the 57 and the 22, or almost 23.
Ooh, so we need to do some cutting then.
Well, we had a lot more mid-major ones this year, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So that's 10,000. So that you got 5 new ones or whatever. That's 50 grand. So that's probably where we're at. But
yeah, that's what it is.
I think personally, if we were, in the 75, maybe we do the 80 to 85 and see if we can't stick in there somewhere and see where it looks. See what it looks like.
Just for ease of conversation, or not conversation, but just math, what would it look like if we just copied and pasted what we did last year into this year? And maybe there are some people on the commission that feel like we should cut some back or add some to some, but maybe as a starting point.
And then what about the new ones, Jeff?
Because then there wouldn't be any money left for the new ones if we did that, would there?
Well, I'm just saying as a starting point, and then, we can whittle where we need to.
Usually we only do about half of the ask on the new ones. Is what
that's probably a good idea. Can I just try that and see what it looks like?
Yeah, just so we can see what the numbers look like.
Okay. There's probably an easier way to do it, but I always have to do things hard. So
Ken, are you going to do the 49? You're just going to do 2,500 and see where it looks?
Yeah, I'll just do 25 there. Were there any that people just did not want to fund at all?
I'm not. I sound like an choir person. I actually love singing, but I feel like we're funding a whole bunch of choirs. I don't know.
And I didn't understand the.
And it just feels like they're just constantly. I don't know. Like that's. I don't know. I would have to be talked into that one, I guess, because I just feel like maybe we need to cut back on the choir funding, but I don't know. I don't know if there's if we need to, that would be a place where I wouldn't mind cutting a little bit.
On the Utah Chinese Association, I didn't understand her at all, so I wasn't sure if you really
Okay,
did.
I'm glad someone said that because I couldn't understand anything she said.
Jeff texted me and I'm like, I didn't understand either. So my question was, did they really do something in Orem last year?
I believe so, yes. They had something, I believe, down at the Sarah Park.
Okay, and then because they were, what did we give them last year? Let's see where they're at on the list.
So just as a clarification, Freedom Vehicles and Tools of Freedom is the same organization.
Correct.
So I just brought the 3 down from that and removed it from the top.
So yeah, the Utah Chinese, we gave $4,000 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if we do that, it puts us a little over 86. Well,
Yeah, 87.
87. So we want to get down to 85,000. So we need to cut 2,000 off somewhere.
Well, I think, do we want to go talk, maybe we just go through each one, like Roots of Freedom and go down, because we do have a lot of choir and not that I'm not against choral groups. I just, the question is, are we giving them money every year and that's what they're living on? And that's not the whole intent of the care money, right? It's to help. And that they need to really do their job and do sponsors and stuff like that too. And we can supplement that, but I don't think we should give them, that's 100% all the time. And I understand the Chantanettes, they're a fixture, but they need to realize, everybody wants to buy music. I saw a lot of things on the choir. We're paying all this money for music. And is that what care tax really is for? I don't know. So
I wonder, I agree with you. I wonder, is that something that the council should maybe take up in future years, is putting a rule on it of like, hey, a care tax can't be more than 75% of operating costs prior. I don't know.
Well,
is that something that you guys would do?
Yeah, Spencer, on the major one, it's 35% of the operating expenses. So that's the basis of the majors, it's 35%. So I don't think we go that low for those, but maybe we can look at that as a council, Jeff, and see if that's something we want to look at.
I think that's a great suggestion.
Well,
legally, can we do that? I'm guessing there's not a problem legally to, is there a legal?
I don't know, Brenda. I don't think so.
Okay.
But what's the question, Jeff? What in terms of legality?
If there's a legal definition of how that money is used, and if we can set limits on operating costs, I think that's a great way to do it. And if we're already doing it on the majors, I was just simply asking the question if there's a legality issue there.
Yeah, because
it's not that strict in terms of the actual ordinance.
Okay.
I think you've got.
You
primarily.
It just
leeway as
feels
a
like
council
every
to set a
year it's
budget.
the same thing for some of these choirs, like they're getting new uniforms or whatever, and it's like, okay, I don't know. Anyway,
I had a question on the Utah Cultural Alliance Foundation.
Uh-huh.
Is that really a bang for our buck? Is that? The Sarah has their own marketing, so I'm not sure if that's really that helpful. I don't know. I'd like to hear some feedback from people on that one.
Yeah, I don't know how much good they do for us.
Yeah, to me, I just thought it was, we're giving money to them for, is it really benefiting Orem or Orem cultural arts? I don't know.
Is that the youth storytelling group?
No, that was the guy that the internet that writes the reviews.
Now playing.
That we had the matching from the Utah Office of Tourism, right?
Yes.
Yeah, David, I think I'm with you. Like, I felt like, sure, that would be nice, but they cover the whole state. So I don't know if they really focus on Orem like some of these other organizations.
That's Now Playing Utah, right?
Yes.
I'm going to do a quick search for Orem and see what pops up on their website.
I find it's helpful. I've been looking at everybody's websites all along. Just kind of looking at it. I kind of feel like we are double doing on that one because we have the Utah Theater Bloggers, which are they do all over, but they do a lot of things for Orem. As far as their reviews, so that might be something similar. We have two similar things. I don't know. Someone look at that website.
It does cover a lot of organizations, so it's not just here, but they're like Summerfest is on there, and it has like yoga events. It has leather. Some of these I haven't even heard of. Things that are happening at University Place. So there's some benefit, maybe not.
But I think the mall has their own marketing, right? And
Yeah,
but it's $1,500. That's not huge. So I guess You know, do you, or Brenn, do you know why the library did not back the National Institute of Story with the story camps?
I don't.
That to me, that just was odd that
Because
they
they've been
wouldn't-
together for a lot of years. I mean, they've been doing that for a long time.
For a long time. I mean, so I don't know. I just thought that was odd.
Wasn't that something that since Library Hall got finished,
Yeah.
that now their rates have gone up and they can't, because we ran into this last year that it was going to change. I can't remember.
But I thought they
I
just
think it
saw
has,
stuff
I think it
outside.
does. Yeah, several of the groups have been saying now that we have to pay for the library hall or whatever, because I think they used to just come for free to do
Yeah,
a
in the
concert.
yeah,
Now
in the
they have to-
library was free. I mean, the library
Yeah, the
hall.
library was free, but now some people are using, I think if the storytelling place is using the library hall, that it's not free. They have to pay for it. So maybe that's what they're talking about. We should have
Yeah,
asked them.
she did say that she said that they still have to pay some at the school, but it's not as much.
But if it's a sponsored library program, then they can use the library hall for free. So that's
or the place that they had in the library before we had library hall.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe we need to clarify that with Shar and just see what the library is doing there. I think it does a lot of good.
I think we're trying to charge, appropriately for use of the library hall. There is a rate structure that gives consideration for not-for-profits and for when it's coupled with a library program, but when it's above and beyond, which is normally what a lot of these care requests are, then it's sort of a standalone event. I mean, they might get better.
I agree, Brenn.
Rate,
I agree.
So that being said, of course we can relook at the fee schedule, but we tried to make it consistent with what schools and other kind of similar venues are doing.
But the library wing, do they still use that for programs or no?
Not a lot, but
no.
I think
stuff
more
they
for
do.
smaller stuff, yeah, for especially when it's little kids stuff.
In the presentation on that one, if I'm not mistaken, to me the picture looked like it was in the city hall chamber, or not the city, but the city council chambers with the pictures of the mayor and stuff in the background. It looked like it was just that space without the chairs. Is that something they've used in the past?
It could have, but now we use that as we have a city council study thing there now. So
that may have been during COVID as well.
Yeah.
Spreading people out.
Yeah, keep in mind we've been ramping up, back into full operations over the course of the last, 12, 18 months.
One thing I was going to point out is Grassroots Shakespeare, they only asked for 5,000. And, the year before they asked for 9,670. And so we're rewarding them basically the amount they're asking. So we could probably drop that one a little bit.
So we gave them 4,000 in 2020.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So you're saying you want to go to like 3,500 or?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was saying that, see, last year they requested 9,670. We gave them 4,999. And this year they're only requesting 5, but we're giving them almost 5. Like, I think you could reduce that. There.
So to 4,000 or 3,500 or what?
Yeah, we could do whatever you guys want to do.
Good.
I don't know, maybe 4,000. They're actually a group that does quite a bit in the schools. So that's a nice group to have where they're getting out actually in the schools, doing it quite a bit. So I don't know. But that's true. We don't usually give people all that they ask for.
Well, I don't think there's enough money to go around for that.
No, there's not enough to go around, is there? This is the most ever gone. This is the most asking we've ever had, I think. So
maybe one thing I'll throw out there, just as I've been comparing and contrasting Utah Symphony versus Timpanogos Symphony, I think Timpanogos Symphony, they're trying to become like really Orem specific. Obviously, they're not there yet, but you know, their focus would be on Orem Title I schools and performances there. You know, of course, Utah Symphony is wonderful, and of course they would be doing performances within Orem, but I think Timpanogos Symphony is trying to make Orem like their headquarters, their home. So maybe just a factor to consider there.
So we could drop maybe the symphony down a little bit, the Utah Symphony.
So what number was Utah Symphony? Let me see here.
They're the second to the last. So we gave, they asked for, we gave them 9 last year. They asked for, 9,999.
So Utah Symphony Opera, 990, 990. So we gave them 9,000. So yeah, you want to drop that down to like 8?
I think with the Timpanogos Symphony coming on, you know, there's a reason.
I don't know. I guess local is good, but I still am a big fan of the Utah Symphony.
I think they have the name and people travel to come see them.
I'd much rather go to the Utah Symphony than the Timpanogos Symphony, but that's just me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Timpanogos Symphony is new, so we would just do 50%. Yeah. That's what they get the first year. I think I agree with that.
So,
but okay, the choirs, you've got 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I added there the 3 choirs. Are some of these others choirs?
I don't know. Just maybe I'm just thinking of years past where it just felt like they were all choirs.
Is the Utah Live Concerts Foundation, is that choir related?
No, the Utah Live Concerts, that's the Geezer.
That's the Geezer Fest.
So really, I think that needs to be, to me, I think that needs to be bumped up because personally, that's a huge event in Orem in August. But that's just me.
It's just because you're a geezer. But I agree with you, Dave. I love it. It's such a fun concert.
So I think we bump them up a little bit and see where we're at personally. But
the question I had was and this was last week, so my memory isn't going, but the one person who was saying that they needed to have, I think this was the Freedom Fest, it's the one where they put on the play.
Oh, Roots of Freedom.
Roots of Freedom was saying that they needed all of the money. I don't know if they really do though, but anyway, that's another one where they were saying that their expenses have gone up dramatically.
Yeah, they got to pay a sound guy. I wrote down sound guys, $2,500.
They lost their sound guy who was doing it basically for free.
And they pay the Sarah.
And then they have to pay the Sarah.
Whatever's left over.
Yeah.
The Roots of Freedom, where are they at on the list? Let's see.
I'm trying to find them.
They're midway.
They're in the middle. They're right in the middle of the mid orange.
Okay, so they're asking for
22.
They're asking for 49.
And we had them down for 35. That's what we gave them last year.
And I mean that's a huge production, so maybe you up that a little bit.
Yeah.
So should we add that, go to 4 there?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
And then on the
that makes sense.
Geezer Fest, do you want to go to 5 there?
Let's look at their.
So Dave and Jeff, I just did a quick calculation in terms of available dollars, care dollars, this year compared to last year, and in total we have a roughly about 14 or just under 15% more total available dollars this year compared to last year. So I don't know how much you may want that to weigh into.
So let's put let's look at the Geezer Fest. Let's bump that to 6 and see what it does. So now we're at
we're going up, not down, guys.
Well, so okay, so why don't we just start at the top? So you got the Freedom, So we got Garden Valley Pipe. Is everybody okay with 3,500?
I mean, I love them, but I don't think they're as far reaching as some of these other
Oh,
organizations.
Bands are a small group, a small reach, but they are fun.
So they asked for 4,000 in 2021. We gave them 35. So why don't we go? You want to go 3 on that one?
Yeah, I think that's a good start.
And then the National Institute of Story. Let me look at my notes here. National Institute of Story.
So they asked for a
Oh,
class.
Okay, so National Institute of Story. Maybe you drop that to 3,000.
Okay.
Orem Corral is 49, so we need to drop them. What do you guys want to drop them?
We could start at 4 and see what happens.
Okay. Because we've given them 49.90. Okay. And Timpanogos Symphony, we did that 2,500. Okay, that's half. Utah.
So I think on the choirs with me, it's not so. It just feels like we're funding the whole choir every single year. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
No, I agree with you. I think.
Yeah.
But see, we're always paying for music and to keep them in cold storage. And I go, Mike personally, I don't think that's what care tax is for, to keep your music in a cool place. But I'm not in a choir either. So
because they're singing really cool music, Dave.
Well, if they were singing Tom Petty,
very funny, very funny.
That's a dad joke.
I wear that title with great pride.
Did you put glasses on, Jeff?
What's that? I don't have my hearing aids on.
Okay. So, all right. So so if we drop down to the Cantorum Choir, do we want to drop them?
You're good with Shakespeare and the theater bloggers then?
Well, yeah. I mean, 500 is not much for the theater blog.
Okay.
Cantorum Choir, what do you guys think? 5,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Chantinettes, maybe we go 4,500. Not, or do you want to give them?
We could even go 4,000 across the board with the choirs.
Well, the Chantinettes, I think the Chantinettes are a little bit close to everybody's heart. I think because they've been around a long time, but
they're not close to my heart, but that's okay.
Okay, I was trying to be politically correct because I'm a politician, right, Jeff? Okay.
No comment.
No comment on that. That sounds fine. We were just talking about how we want these groups to become more self-sufficient. And I just feel like some of the choirs especially just feels like, we're so thankful you're funding our whole choir every year. They're all saying that. And it's like, I don't know if we want to be funding the whole choir every year.
Well, so on the Chantinettes, what do you guys want to do then?
Yeah, 4,000 sounds good.
And were we dropping the Cantorum Choir to 4,000 as well, or?
That's a good point. What? You want to do 4,500?
Or just do half of their ask? I mean,
one thing about the Cantorum choirs, they have that outreach, I guess, in the school.
Oh, I'm just asking. Like, I'm good with whatever you guys want to do. I do like the idea of dropping, like slowly weaning the choirs away. They're like, the kid that won't move out of mom and dad's basement. Like, slowly we'll just wean them off of the care money.
Failure to launch off of care.
I kind of like that idea. Like, maybe go down like $500 every year. Then eventually they'll be like, wait. But I like that idea because I do feel like we're kind of just, I don't know.
Well, that gets us at 85.4.
So,
Yay!
So is everybody else good with everything else then? I think we're done.
Awesome.
Is everybody, Spencer, are you okay with that? And
Laurel and
Stacy. Yeah, it looks good.
And I'd like to hear from Laurel and everybody, just make sure they're okay.
Sorry, I'm just sick, so I'm kind of like in and out. I think it's great. I'm hoping that the Fit to Recover, I really hope that they link up a lot with some additional recovery places, link up with Wasatch, and then even link up with UVU. I think getting volunteers out of UVU and maybe some art, an art professor that would volunteer to do a class or something.
And they definitely need more funding, because they can't expect Orem Care to. We don't mind giving money because it's a good thing, but hopefully when they get down there, they can at least get more sponsors.
Or just network with supports that are already in place.
So, Kenna, would CDBG money be able to be there for them?
They could have definitely applied for CDBG.
Okay, so that's another government funding that we can point them.
Yeah,
maybe we
so
can wean them out of the care money and maybe do the CDBG.
Yeah, so I will be sure to reach out to them in October.
Okay.
For
I
the
have a
next
question. You dropped down the other choirs, but you didn't seem to drop down the Utah Baroque Ensemble. Do you think that's really fair?
Where's it at? Let's see.
That's the fourth choir. It's the one down near the bottom there. Yes.
I think that's a good point.
We could drop them 40 to 4,000 too.
Yep. Right.
Yeah, just something. Otherwise, it's not really fair.
Good point.
Is that what they mean when they say they're Baroque?
Oh my gosh.
You are full of them tonight, Jeff.
Jeff, what do you eat for dinner, man? All right, so
I'm sorry.
And then just not to beat a dead horse, we're talking about trying to get people to be more self-sufficient. And I don't know if this requires a vote from city council or whatnot, but maybe we could put something in the instructions when they fill it out that kind of gives them guidance of like going forward, where you're less likely to award grants. I mean, that's for you guys to figure out what it says, but less likely to award grants that are above this percentage, and give them guidance so they kind of see like, oh, okay, so if we did increase our overall budget, then we're more likely to get this, but that's why we're maybe something to give them why they're not getting 100%, and things like that, because we want these organizations to grow and
I
do
totally
well, so
agree
maybe
with this. I think they need to have
so maybe
more
some kind of
transparency.
guidance.
But I think that's something that we can do.
Definitely can need maybe give more guidelines or guidance.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
It doesn't sound like any of them know this thing that we were talking about, like the seed money thing. It doesn't sound like they know that.
Yes, I agree.
Seed money.
I mean, maybe this is something we don't normally as a commission meet outside of these meetings, but maybe 6 months from now in the off season or a month before the applications get sent out or whatever, maybe we could sit down and kind of put together the guidance. Again, I don't know if that needs a vote or how that works, but maybe that's something we could do in kind of the off season.
Yeah, we do that for CDBG. We meet before the process starts, so we could definitely do that. I think, Brenn, couldn't we?
Hey, Ken, I don't know if you want to tell them what CDBG
I just wanted to
is.
make sure I wasn't being muted.
So CDBG is another it's actually a federal grant program that we get from HUD. It's for community development. So 15% of what Orem's allocation can be given to what you call public service entities. So these are people that are serving low-income families and individuals that live in Orem. And so some of like Fit to Recovery definitely fits that bill. Some of these others probably could too. But Fit to Recover definitely fits that bill. And that process goes from the application process starts in October, and it's for the following July. So it's a long process, but it's a good process. We have a lot of people with it.
Well, we appreciate your time. This is awesome. That if everybody's in agreement, I think we can submit this to the council. And
yeah, we would just need a motion from one of the voting members.
Okay. I just say I carry a motion to pass this, or
yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. So Laurel and then Spencer, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
the cheery that we got for that.
All of our
That's
soccer
impressive.
players are having fun tonight.
Okay. If you
Okay,
guys,
well,
So
if you'll just
sorry,
let-
so sorry.
if you'll just let us know if you do want to meet, just let me
Okay.
know, like, if you want to meet and talk about it. I just feel like I was saying, it seems like some of them don't really, like, they don't know that. So
right, we will
maybe we should let them
definitely
know.
do that. Maybe
And then
what-
are we thinking? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, what you could do is if you go and Google Orem Care, we have a website and that's the information that they're given. So if you guys want to go and see what they're given and, you know, what changes we want to make. And I think we could definitely meet at the beginning of the year before we send out the applications. I think that would work really well.
And then are we going to try to meet in person next year? My first year on the commission, we did all in person, and you know, I enjoyed that. And then we just kind of COVID hit, and it's never gone back to the same way.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely, if that's something that you guys want to do, I think Brenn would be open to that.
I wouldn't mind. I don't mind having some people, like maybe people who need to present, but it's more fun. It's actually more, I don't know, it's easier to do it in person, I think.
Yeah, I think
I
we
don't
can
mind.
I mean, the nice thing is we do have a Zoom room. So we can, in our council off, you know, in our different rooms, so we can do it both ways. So like, you know, Michael Bear that has to come from Cedar, he could probably still present on that.
I'm personally a big fan of these presentations being remote because I think it's much more efficient, but of course.
Yeah, I don't mind
there's-
the presentations being remote, but it's more fun to have the meeting in person. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
Plus, then you guys could wake me up if I started sleeping.
Well, we have a few months to decide on that, so that's good. Well, let me just get you, I appreciate your service, and I will let Brenn and Dave and Jeff end the meeting, but I'll just give you some updated dates. So we will be presenting the major care grants and the city grants on May 10th at our work session, and probably will start at 3. So if any of you want to come to that and hear those presentations, we welcome you, or you can watch that online as well. We will then bring all of this information plus the majors and the city grants to have the council deliberate at the May 24th work session at 3 o'clock. And then we will bring all of our recommendations to the council for a vote on June 14th at the 6 o'clock city council. So we encourage any of you that want to join us for that. We would love to have you there. So we'll give all the 3 of you guys the last word.
I guess I'll speak up then. I appreciate the opportunity to serve on this commission with everybody, and it's great to see the citizens involved and your input. It's valuable, and appreciate your service and your time. It's awesome, and I think we got through this really pretty quick, and we're all in agreement. So I appreciate your time and your efforts, and we'll be able to meet you someday, I guess, in person. So thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Jeff, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I'll just say amen to that. Thank you. You know, it's wonderful to have so many people from the community that are willing to give of their time and you know, listen to all of these presentations, and you know, it's wonderful to be able to serve with you. So thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Brenn.
I'll just add that we took notes about how to improve the process, and so we'll definitely keep getting better and better at this. So thank you for your time.
All right. Any other
Awesome.
questions, concerns, anything? All right. Well, I appreciate you all that are out of town, in parking lots, soccer fields, hotel rooms. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a really good night. So thank you.
Thank you.
McKenna, thanks to you for putting all of this together. You and Brenn did a marvelous job. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Take care.
Night.
Thanks.
Bye.